Yeah. Alright, okay. I'm here. I don't know, this camera seemed to be turning itself off. It's full battery juice, so I don't know what's going on. But I'm pulling it off the tripod, as you can see. And I'm swinging around here to show you what has been done. And I don't want you to really miss much, you know, because the whole idea is to give you an idea how to do it. I've got a hard drive sort of slid in here. It's not secured or anything. And I've got the Cooler Master fan down on the heat sink, as I showed you before. And I have the motherboard secured down without the standoffs. I guess it's just sort of press standoffs. And as you can see, the amber light is on. There's power to the board. I have all the banks of RAM in place, so there's RAM in all the channels. And the power supply, the Dell power supply, the one that came with the Dell, is installed. And just giving you a little view over of everything that's been done so far. And then I'll put the camera back in the tripod, try to hang it over the edge so that you can see what I'm doing. I believe the next thing I need to do is to secure a hard drive in here, and then it's going to complain because it doesn't have a hard drive, our operating system. So we'll see what we'll do with that later on too. But so far that's what we've done, and it's coming along. We could test it to see if it posts. It's always good to, every now and then, you know, check, make sure everything's in order, fans are in order, memory's in place before you continue. And we're in a position, a situation now to do that. I have it hooked up to this Acer monitor. Let me tell you, this old Acer monitor, I keep it because it's got the variable HDMI, DVI, VGA. You know, I can do all, you know, it's my little test monitor sort of thing because it gives me all the options, right? So I'm just trying to keep focus on what we're doing here. And slide this camera back into its normal place on the tripod. Tip that down a bit. I could zoom in, or maybe I could just put my coffee cup aside here. I've got a SATA cable ready to hook up drives, and another one already, a SATA cable plugged into this one, and we'll see what happens. What we could do here is run a test and see, first of all, just with this hard drive loose, slid in there, just try and see if it posts. All right, that's always a good thing. So before we continue, let's see if she posts. Now I have the front bezel off, so I have to kind of push into where the, there we are, fan is, or the, yeah, there we are. Bip. You want to hear that bip, that single bip. That single bip tells you graphics work. Graphics are initiated. You know, it's already run through its system check enough to know that it can proceed with posting. And there we are. And what did I say? Windows failed to start. Windows failed to start. Isn't that interesting? Okay. A recent hardware software change might be the cause. Now, probably that might be because I have that hard drive plugged in there. And maybe we can get it to boot. File boot BCD status. So yes, we've got to work on the boot configuration for this, and see if that might be. But this is good. This is what we want to see before we proceed any further. I don't even have a CD DVD ROM to insert right now to correct the problem. I don't even know if I could correct the problem, because that's if there is an operating system on that hard drive. I think there might be. It's for another old Dell, and it would be Vista. So kind of an old defunct operating system, but we're going to try that anyway. We're going to see if it will try to repair the Vista, because it was on another Inspiron 530 anyway, if you know what I mean. So I'm not too fussy about that right now, because we're just running tests and stuff like that. I can configure, reinstall a proper, like I said before, functional operating system, a legitimate Windows genuine, with the COA sticker, the whole bit, from Dell, for Dell, made for Dell, and cost me $75, and I should have never probably bought it anyway. It was actually going to be used for another client, but here's the thing. Now, I do have clients, unofficial clients, okay? I'm not a certified IT. I want to make that clear. I'm trying to do this so that people will understand that they can do it too. It's not that hard. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to build your own PC, or even rescue a PC from the dumpster and make it work. But this is good. This is really good news. I'm really happy to see this, because it's telling me that the system is running, it's posting, it's recognizing the hardware, the fan is running nice and quiet. I had a little problem with the fan earlier. It kept generating what I thought it was a clicking sound. Do you know what's so funny? I think what it was a screwdriver was on the keyboard, and it thought that I was trying to enter F8, and it was just click, 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 Anyway, I don't know that for sure, but it just seems to be... Well, anyway, the problem's alleviated, and what I really like is this is the 4-pin fan, so it steps down on the cooling when it doesn't, it ramps up and then ramps down, so it's nice and quiet, and that's wonderful. Now, admittedly, this Cooler Master fan was not, doesn't come with the Dell computer, but it's a good fan, and that's why I was delighted, because it's a good fan, and I want good components in this PC. I mean, I'm not doing anything bleeding edge yet, or ever, I don't think, but state of the art or any of that stuff, but I do want to make a good, reliable, sensible, budget computer. And so far, I mean, my biggest cash outlay was $24.95 for a motherboard plus shipping. These, if I can maybe turn the camera, I don't know if that's going to help at all, but these sticks of RAM, I got those out of old, cannibalized, broken down computers. Okay, same with the hard drives. It is a little bit of a Frankenstein, I have to admit. It's not everything is Dell original. This fan isn't a Dell original fan, but a lot of it really is Dell original parts. Now we're going to change that, because we're putting in, I have two CD DVD ROMs that I want to put in. There they are. Okay, I was checking the dates. One says August 2010, so that one's not that old. 8 years old. This one here is a little bit older, October 2009, and I'm going to pop them both in and give them a go and see how they work. I have no idea. I have boxes of these things, because I cannibalize old computers, and then I can use it to fix things myself. And then sometimes, people, they can't afford a technician or anything. I just help them out. I don't charge them for used parts or anything. It's just, I help people out. But I'm not going to charge anybody for used parts. Sometimes they can't afford, to put it in a repair shop or anything like that, and maybe they can afford like $20 or whatever, or maybe I live in Canada, and guess you got to be careful, but they might have me over for moose meat dinner or something, if you get my drift. Okay, but I love moose meat. Anyway, but because sometimes we just take things out and trade, one good favor for another, because money isn't everything, and or sometimes we just do each other favors. Friends help friends out, right? I live in a small community and we help each other out, and so there it is. I live in Redneckville, so that's how we do things here. That's how we roll. But sometimes, like the guy will go, man, I need a CD, DVD, ROM. You have one of those handy? Yeah, or, well, I need some RAM. Well, or, I don't know what's wrong with my computer, and then I find out what's wrong with their computer. They're like, well, how much is that going to cost me, right? Well, if I've got some used stuff on hand, and I can help them, I can just say, well, look, I'll tell you what, I'll just pop some in and remember me next time, type of thing. But I'm digressing. I just wanted you to see this before I began, and I'm going to reposition the camera now with the installation of the CD, DVD, ROM, and the hard drive. So I have to turn the computer off for that. Okay. Now here's something you want to do. There we are. Here's something you really want to do. Always remember this. When you're working on a PC, you can see, well, maybe you can't see yet, but there's power to this board, and the amber light here that's on. And Dell, that annoys me about Dell. They've got an amber light. Amber light generally is like a warning light that something's going. But with these Dell motherboards, it just means that there's, there's power to the board. That's all it is. And that is important to have an LED on the board to let you know there's power to the board, to remind you, hey, there's power to the board. You don't want to be pulling out circuits, popping in circuits when there's power to the board. Now, there's some stuff that's hot pluggable, but unless you really know what you're doing, I don't recommend doing that at all. Here's what I say. I say, take this power cord, I don't know if you can see it, and pull it. Pull it right away. Pull it out. Okay? You can do that. You do not hurt your computer doing that. But after you do that, hit the power switch. Make sure that you drain. See, did you see, even though the power is unplugged, how that ran? The fan still spun, right? There was still power in the capacitors. You want to drain the capacitors. They call it bleed the capacitors. You don't want any power, stored or otherwise, on your board. Okay? Now you're safe to work on your motherboard. Like people are saying, use a wrist strap, ground yourself. Well, if you do the correct things, you don't need to worry about those sorts of things. All right. So now, first things first. I don't know if I want to put this hard drive in this slot, to be honest. I think I want it to go in the other one. It's a good, nice sized 1 terabyte hard drive. Be gentle. Yep. Seagate 1 terabyte hard drive. Like, I've heard stories about Western Digital hard drives are better than Seagate hard drives. Seagate hard drives are better than Western Digital hard drives. I have to say, from my experience, as a rule, I've had better results with Seagate hard drives than Western Digital hard drives, but that might be the older drives. I'm not going to get too technical on this, but I just want to say, really, they're hard drives. And the drawback to mechanical drives. All right, hold on. This is serious. So I'm going to give you a mugshot. I want to look directly in your eyes when I tell you this. Right in your face. You're going to have to look at the old geezer for a moment. The old man. Listen to the old man. The old man knows. All right, here we are. Straighten this out here, because I'm going to look directly into the camera. I'm going to tell you something I think that you need to know. All right. Can you see me? I hope you can see me. Hard drives are hard drives, but some hard drives are better than other hard drives, okay? And you get what you pay for. If you buy a 1 terabyte hard drive for under $100, okay, and it lasts you 2 or 3 years, be happy, okay? But I've purchased 1 terabyte hard drives, popped them in the computer. Within the first week, they're clicking. And I haven't bumped anything. I haven't done anything wrong with them. They just start clicking. And I've had that problem with Western Digital. I've had that problem with Seagate. I've had it more commonly with Western Digital blue drives. And I've heard that the Western Digital green drives are even worse. Okay, so the Caviar Blacks are a bit better. I don't even know if they make them anymore. But I will say that they're mechanical hard drives. And those moving parts, those mechanical parts, they're making them a lot cheaper today than they used to, because they're not really getting much return on their investment. People are going more to SSDs. There will be an SSD in this PC. All right, that will be the main operating system. I will not, be completely dependent on a physical hard drive for an operating system. There's no reason for it anymore. Okay. Physical mechanical hard drives are good for storage, all right? But I would say that, when it comes to operating systems, hard drives are pretty much on the way out the door. And even in an older unit like this, I'm better off using an SSD than a hard drive for my operating system. But since I have hard drives, I'm going to use them for storage purposes. Maybe I'll even do something like pop Linux Mint on a hard drive, since I'm limited here for what I can do with this, and play around with that. But I just want to make it very clear that hard drives are not what they used to be. They're not making them like they used to. The quality is just not there. Unless you want to pay $400 or $500 for a 1 terabyte hard drive, the quality will not be there. It isn't there. Trust me, take it from me. I've been through hundreds of hard drives, and the quality isn't there like it used to be. It isn't there. I have some hard drives here that are going on 10, 12 years old, okay, and they're running. They're still working fine. My daughter has one in her PC right now. It just doesn't die. All right, and yet I purchased brand new hard drives from the same manufacturer, same size, newer style. Like these Seagate hybrid drives. I really don't recommend Seagate hybrid hard drives. They are trouble. I've read so much about them causing trouble for people, and my own personal experience is, within 2 days, they're giving me problems. They start clicking, giving me all kinds of issues, blue screens. No. So when it comes down to that, I have to tell you, the newer hard drives don't hold a candle to those older Seagate hard drives that were, about 10 years old. Those things, 10, 12-year-old hard drives are running, and I can't get a brand new one by the same manufacturer, the same amount of storage, right? Say to 3, and it fails in the first week. I've had that happen to me so many times that I really think twice before I even bother buying a mechanical hard drive brand new. So there it is. there's my chit chat on hard drives. You can agree with me, you can disagree with me, you can do what you like. But I thought I'd just throw that out there. You know, I would really like to see Seagate and Western Digital pull up their socks and get to making hard drives the way they used to, mechanical hard drives. Durable, lasting, worthy investments. But I'm not seeing that, and I guess I mean, I've seen them, you know, the really expensive ones, $400, $500 for just a 1 terabyte drive. You know, I don't know how good they are, but I'm supposing that that thing should be guaranteed for life. I mean, for your life. Okay, there it is. Now we're going to get into the installation. I moved this over because it's going to be my HD. It's really cute here. It's you know how computers are zeros and ones. Say HDD0, HDD1. So hard drive 0 and hard drive 1. So we will do that. We will do that. Hard drive 0 and hard drive 1. And we'll run right off the lines for that. We're going to put in another hard drive here. May as well. This is and these are expensive. These are the Seagate Itanium, and it's giving me a little bit of trouble. It's I don't know if it's reporting a smart issue but it's don't worry about it. We're going to use it anyway. It's because I get a warning, and then I just ignore the warning and continue with it, and it works. So we're going to do that. We're going to see if that happens with this motherboard, or if the problem was, you know, the motherboard and the SATA ports. We're going to find out. Okay, because you know the story about the SATA ports on that old other motherboard. Now I took, you know, these from the other Dell. So, oh, I keep getting the wrong screwdriver here. There we are. I have my monitor sitting on top of the screwdriver. Isn't that great? Like I said, I'm not an IT. I'm not a professional. A lot of ITs wouldn't even bother with this. Okay, the professional, you know, I'm 10, 12 years old. You know what they'll tell you? Get another computer. All right. Now some might, you know, just for entertainment purposes, I guess. And in a way, I'm doing this for entertainment purposes. I don't know if I have this focused enough on the computer, so I'm going to swing around and try to tip down because, you know, I want you to see how it's done. And I think there's a lot of people that are like amateurs and they haven't done this before, you know. And so when I show you how easy it is, maybe you'll, you know, get brave. Or maybe you are doing it and you just, you know, want some ideas. That's great. I hope so. I hope so. You know, it's better than throwing it in the dumpster. Have a little fun while you do it, you know. I see there's stains in here that... Well, I do know that there was a hot chocolate incident with one of my girls. Try to make that... I want good threads, you know. But we're gonna this particular type, they run vertical, not horizontal, on their edge. Some say that extends the life of the hard drive. Some people say no, it doesn't. Some say it's harder on the mechanism. I don't really know. Alright. I have to pick up a bunch. I have a whole bunch more screws, but there's enough secured here. Yeah, but I have to pick up some more screws because I need to show you how to put in the CD DVD ROMs in the box. All right. Okay. I'll be right back. Got to get some more of those goofy looking screws. These are your typical standard hardware screws. Here. See what I mean? Now you have to be careful because some are a finer tap than others. You have to keep that in mind, right? And try to keep some uniformity, you know, like if you're going to use aluminum screws like this, use aluminum screws, you know. I actually learned that when I was doing a little bit of electrical out in the patch. Yes, that's right, oil. I did a bit of that. That uniformity with metals, because there's this thing called cathotics, and when you start using different metals touching each other, you can invite other issues. Cathodic reactions, where essentially you're almost making a battery and you're inducing corrosion. So as a result of these two metals, the ions interacting with the metals, and it creates corrosion. They can actually literally almost weld themselves to each other in some cases. Okay, so there. Aluminum, aluminum, right? Aluminum case, aluminum screws. No cathotics there. Aluminum with aluminum. Alright. So, now what we got to do is try to flip this over, and I want to show you in here. This is where we're going to be putting our we'll just drop that down there. We'll be putting our DVD CD-ROM. Just sort of slide it, and there's little metal guides. Sometimes you gotta use a little persuasion. Aha, there's a screw in this one I need to take off. Different type. Looks like a Hewlett-Packard screw. So now that's the thing. You don't have to have a Dell CD DVD ROM necessarily for it to work, right? In many cases, any DVD CD ROM will work. But the real trick is going to be aligning it with the bezel so that when the door opens on the bezel, or when the door opens on the CD-ROM, it also opens the bezel, because that's how they're designed. So we have that one there, kind of temporarily in place, and we're going to do the other one. But see, this wants to slide down. I don't know how far it's going to go, but let's hope it doesn't go down too far. This one here, Super Wrightmaster Speed Plus, looks like it's a little bit fancier unit, but all that's going to be hidden anyway under the ooh boy, that's a tight fit. Jiggle it a little bit. Yeah, now it's holding here on the edge, but it may be made for that, and that's okay. I'll have to test that, and if that's the case, then it'll knock open the door, and that's what we're going to test. We're going to test to see if we can get away with that sort of deal. If we can't, you know, if it has to be flush, then I have more. I have all kinds. As I said before, this is like a dumpster diver thing, but so I'll spin this around. I don't have a fancy lazy Susan like Carrie Holtzman. Not Carrie Holtzman. I really recommend watching his show, his videos on YouTube. The guy's got the right idea. He believes in, you know, resurrecting old PCs himself, and what he does is he gives them to veterans and underprivileged people, you know, so that they can have a computer that runs well. And all I can say is good for him. Good for him. You know, it's better than throwing it in the dumpster. You know what I mean? But yeah. So I just thought I'd mention that man is. I like what he's doing. I like what he's doing. So I always put in a plug for Carrie Holtzman. Well, not always, but now and then, because I watch his videos and I like what he's doing. But he may even have been doing it longer than me, you know. I've been doing that for almost 20 years, so but he's an IT. Okay. Now, I'm just a redneck. Alright, so we're going to put some screws in here to position it. Alright? And we're going to try without the bezel, and then we're going to try with the bezel. Okay, so we're going to look for, see, you've got to look for those screw holes. Now, how far out it goes, I don't think it's supposed to go that far out. But, you know, I could be wrong. Maybe it's supposed to go that far out, right? It doesn't look like it's supposed to go in that far. So, alright, we'll do that. We'll try this. We'll just, and because, those are my girls there in the background, because it's too fast. I spoil these girls, I'll tell you. The 11-year-old is running a full-size MSI card, 1050 Ti. I don't know, I don't have a good feeling about that screw. I like... I mean, I know they work in here, but I have these feelings about these kinds of screws. There are better ones. You know what? I'm going to get something more appropriate for this. I mean, these will work, but you can risk them going in too deep. On some drives. I don't know if these drives are the ones, but on some drives you can. Hey girls, you know, I told you I'm recording. It's been 45 minutes, Okay. Alright. Before I get some more appropriate things. Having a look here. Yeah, it looks like you can see what I'm doing. Alright, I'm just going to show you these types of screws. They have a rounded head. They're a little bit shorter. There are other ones that are square. There's some fancy ones. I have all kinds, but I just want to use these sort of temporarily because this is a test situation, right? Just to see. And always, you know, An ounce of prevention, as I say. Just, they're a little bit shorter because not all of these, most of these you can use your standard machine screw, but sometimes you can damage the hardware with the length of the screw. If it's too long, you've got problems. So I'm trying to avoid that. I don't know that I've ever done that, but I've read about it. And with other items, I actually have used screws that were too long and paid the price. See, I can save you the trouble. That one's not going to work. I can save you the trouble by you watching this, going, oh, okay. I guess I better use a little bit shorter screws when I install CD DVD drives. Yeah, I didn't like that one. When one doesn't give me I can just hear Carrie Holtzman saying, see, that's why I use an electric screwdriver. Yeah, well, there's a reason why I use a manual screwdriver. Helps when you're not rushed. Okay, alright. So, there we go. And again, before we proceed, we want to test. You know, that's why there's only one screw in each, because it's there for testing purposes. Now, of course, we're not going to get any results until we get powered back to the board. So we plug in our build. I heard a terrible snap there. I like that. Yeah, but there's power to the board. Alright. Okay. Power to the board. Let's test the business, shall we? You can see here there's no big power button on the bezel. You got to reach in there and just kind of tap inside. So. That's a beautiful sound. Now, what does the screen say? The screen says Dell. That's good. It's got a splash screen. We still got that problem. Alright. I guess I should have hooked them up, right? Would make a difference if I hooked them up. Right, I'm being a little rushed here because I'm being told that I'm taking too long. So.
Don't watch the same show as me, Marley!
Oh, you children, you're being recorded. Abigail, behave. Stop wrecking my presentation. Because you're going on YouTube just like this. And I'm not editing it, so there. So everybody's going to hear. The whole world's going to hear how you behave. Alright. Got an issue here with reaching in and plugging in the pretty sure gotta turn right. Well, I'm gonna have to get that $2 flashlight. $2 flashlight. Have another look. No, it looks like I was doing it right. There. Now what I did is I used a splitter off a Molex power connector to spare my SATA power connectors with this power supply. Now this power supply is 400 watts, so it's going to give me what I need for my components. But the idea of putting two SATA drives on here that are both CD/DVD-ROM strikes me somewhat as a bit of a waste, and so I'm probably using a card for the CD/DVD-ROMs. But for the time being, I'm going to run a test again. Don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid. Turn it on, turn it off, read the posting. That way, you see, you're already doing your troubleshooting as you go along, rather than put it all together and then you've got a problem and then you gotta, well, you know, go through the process, unplug this, disconnect that, till you finally get down to the component that's causing you the problem. Why not just do that as you build and go along up the chain? Because then you get more satisfaction, gratification as you grow. Anyway, that's just, you know, how I swing here. There, we got a green light. That's a good sign. I don't know about the other one, if it gave me a green light or not, because I wasn't looking, but maybe the camera would tell you. We've got the Dell post. Yay, it's a Dell computer. We know that now. I'm going to attempt to see if this ejects. Oh my goodness, it ejects. How about that? And so it must have given a, there's the green light. That's good. It's checking for a disc and a CD. There isn't one there. And this one, yes, another green light. It's too bad those lights are going to be covered when the bezel's on, or bezel, however it's pronounced. Bezel, basil, tomato, tomato. That's looking good. And now what I'm going to do is put the bezel on and see if it works again with the bezel. So, of course, if we're going to do anything intense, we have to unplug it. We have hard drives running inside it. Yeah, it's thinking about things now, because now it's finding media, you know. And of course, we've got the warning, the Windows failed to start, because I'm guessing what it's done is it's detected an operating system on one of the drives, but it can't find, you know, the command line, right? Because there might have been, I might have had the BCD dual boot. So, because I tend to dual boot my hard drives. But no problem, we'll worry about that later. We will turn off the unit again. And yeah, you have to get used to that. You have to be prepared to do that a lot when you're building. Turn it on, turn it off, check it, everything checks, good. Move to the next step, turn it on, turn it off, check it. You know, it's better that way than throwing everything together and then, oh no, it's not working. What's wrong? Is it this? Is it this? Is it this? And you know, you could be going through like 20 different things before you finally isolate the problem, because you didn't verify that those components were working before you proceeded to the next step. You would save yourself so much trouble. This is the voice of experience. Listen to the old guy. Listen to the old guy. Okay, all right. Now, we have a switch there. A nice looking switch on the front of the bezel. We're going to try, hold on. We're going to try that fancy switch down here. We're going to push that switch and see if it works. Woo! Love that fan, that Cooler Master fan. It really ramps up good. Make sure that the heat sink is nice and cool. And now we got to wait to see what posts again. Well, we don't really have to, but we can test, because what we really want to test is this. Oh! Perfect! Okay, and that's the one thing I didn't like about this, but you know, you can do that from the software too, closing and opening the doors. And that works too. Wow. Now, we don't, see? This means there needed to be an adjustment. It catches. Now, let me test something. What I might be able to do is put this one on the top, you know, and put the other one on the bottom. That might work. We don't know that for sure, but do you see what I mean? This is why you want to test your components as you go along. Everything else worked, but we got a little problem with it catching on the door. It's very likely because the CD DVD ROM was not designed for this particular model of proprietary equipment, but we'll get around that. This Spyron 530. I just wanted to test some things, show you some things, and we'll proceed with the rest of it at a later time. This is Edward from Two Old Geeks, and thanks again for listening and watching. God bless you. Thanks again. Bye-bye.